Brand awareness is an important aspect of brand building. It's a simple concept, and a lot of people know that, of course, maybe with a different name, but it's also a tricky one because most people think of brand awareness as something that is generated by marketing, which is true. Of course, marketing generates brand awareness as the different kinds of marketing, and one of the ways of marketing, one kind of marketing generates brand awareness. But the fact of the matter is that you don't really need to wait for brand awareness. And a lot of small businesses, startups, entrepreneurs actually wait to create brand awareness. And they sort of do this really by simply just doing the marketing and doing stuff and then thinking that brand awareness would come down the line, right? Brand awareness is something that that is not in your control, and it'll happen. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not true. In fact, brand awareness is something that you need to nurture. You need to nurture and grow every single day. You can affect brand awareness. You can create brand awareness. You can improve, or in this case, skyrocket your brand awareness. So let's look at the different ways, about 15 ways. But before that, first, we'll look at what are the benefits of having this kind of brand awareness, right? Okay. So what will the growth of brand awareness mean to your business? First, of course, your product or service will be noticed by your customers. This is quite straightforward, right? Yeah, awareness is notice and they're becoming aware. Customers will give feedback which can help you improve your product or service. Now, this is something that you might not have thought of, because this is not the reviews, by the way, online. Okay, reviews are feedback, but they're slightly different from what I'm talking about. In this situation, I'm talking about awareness, which means that once customers have awareness, they will actually reach out and give you feedback, whether positive or negative. But they're going to give feedback, so that constructive feedback that can be used in improving your service or your product. So that's something fantastic. Next, customers will recommend your product or service to a friend, and you will grow brand awareness even more. So yeah, brand awareness creates word of mouth, referral, and it'll help your marketing tremendously. Okay, right. Let's look at the first one. Exceed expectations every single time. So when you're working to get your venture off the ground, one of the single most important things you can do is to build awareness of your brand. To build awareness of your brand is to blow your client expectations out of the water. Now, there are many ways of doing it, and most people think that if they have a quality product or if their service is excellent, then they are exceeding expectations. No, that is not exceeding expectations. That is just doing what you're required to do. And maybe 5-10 years ago, maybe more, consumers, even if the product was a little off, they didn't really mind, because they had limited choices. So there was monopolies in terms of products or services, and they didn't really have choices. But this day and age, consumers have tons and tons of choices, and the marketplace is filled with competitors, and you are in a red ocean. So to go from a red ocean where there's blood in the water, there's sharks fighting and less fish, you get the picture, right? From that to go into a blue ocean where you are sort of on top, and you have really no competition, you really need to exceed expectations. So let's say, I'll give you a very simple and stupid example, right? If your product, when they purchase your product from your website, if it says that delivery is going to be in 4 to 5 business days, surprise them and delight them by delivering in 2 days if you can. And this is just an example. Of course, Amazon can deliver this evening, right? Or in a few hours. I'm not saying you can do that or try to do that, but it's just an example, right? Even with a service. If, for example, you're running a marketing company and Your contract says that you will provide 60 posts in a month, right? Social media posts for your client. Do 80, right? Do 80 and let your client know subtly, okay? Not bragging, but subtly to say, okay, the contract says 80, but our team was so excited with your brand that we did 80, right? So little things like that, but exceed the expectations. This is not the same as giving gifts or incentives. That's a whole different thing. This is completely about exceeding expectations for what the client is paying you, right? Number 2, make your content entertaining. Okay, so what was unique about an inexpensive razor subscription called Dollar Shave Club? I'm sure you've heard of it, right? This was ages ago. Now I know it's an old example, but I love this example. Well, nothing until they dropped one of the most buzzed about launch videos in the history of the web. Okay, so this is a classic example and you probably heard or read about it elsewhere, but I think I find it really apt to this discussion because this is about brand awareness. Overnight, Dollar Shave Club went from obscurity to, everyone knew it. They had millions and millions of views. This video was shared like nobody, right? So if you can make your content entertaining, now when I say content, it's not just your content strategy, but it could be the voice, the tone of your marketing, the messages, and all these things. If you can make them entertaining, you create brand awareness. All right, educate everyone who visits you. And when I say visits you, it's about visiting your website or your shop or any kind of interaction, right? And educate is about sharing knowledge, because when you share knowledge with your target audience, you create awareness, you create brand awareness, you enhance your brand awareness, even for a personal brand. And this is what I was saying in the series on personal branding, and go check it out if you're interested, because you can use some of those strategies in building brand awareness through the power of your personal brand. I will leave a link below, or maybe if it's on YouTube, then right about now I will put a card. Just you can click on it, but watch that later. Complete this video first, right? Because there's context. There's this. They go independently, but they also come together. Okay. So a lot of small brands think, based on their market segment, they might think that there is no opportunity to educate. Okay, if it's health or medicine, or if in this case, for example, branding, yes, you're sharing, there's a lot of information you can share. What if undergarments, right? What if my brand is selling undergarments, or we design undergarments? And yeah, and I mentioned this because I'm right now working with an awesome undergarments disruptor, right, company, and I'm creating a strategy for them. So this was something that we discussed. Actually, you'd be surprised. Even within that undergarment sector or any sector, there is an opportunity to educate, to share knowledge. Because I would assume that within your market segment, with your product, with your service, you have a lot of expertise, right? You are a professional, you have a lot of expertise and experience. And I assume that maybe your clients or your potential target audience or your target audience don't really have the same level of expertise as you do, right? Is that, can we consider that to be like, something that makes sense, right? If that is the case, then there's always an opportunity to share knowledge, right? About your product, about the bigger worldview of your product, the bigger picture of your product. It could be about also related, complementary aspect of your product. What that means is that it sort of, it brings it to a different dimension, right? Or if it's a service, you can still educate and try to share knowledge. So building and sharing knowledge will increase your brand awareness. This is a really, really powerful tool, and yes, I recommend that. Number 4, focus on personalized incentives. Now, personalized incentives is nothing but personalizing your products, for example, or your services. I know it's not new, and listen, none of these strategies are new. They're not like really groundbreaking ones, right? These are fundamental strategies, but I'm pulling them together from the perspective of building brand awareness, not just maybe leads, and yeah, we're going to be talking about leads too in just a second, but this is about the brand awareness and how you're structuring your communication and your marketing around brand awareness. So with this personalized incentives, you could always sort of create you know, a personalized attribute to your products, and just simply make sure that you are doing it not as a gimmick but as an authentic kind of attribute that your clients, your customers, your target audience, that they would enjoy, that they would feel value in it. So it's all about building value, because value brings awareness, right? As simple as that. Okay, the next one, run selfie campaigns. Again, this might sound like a stupid idea and probably been done to death, but by the bigger brands. Smaller brands don't really utilize this concept. They probably, I mean, I've worked with a lot of small brands, and through experience I can say that a lot of brand owners feel that this is quite it's a difficult thing to implement, but it's really simple. You know, if you have social media channels, just ask your customers to take selfies with your products and post them online and then tag you, right? And in return, give something of value. Really, not just 10% off your next order, because yes, it's useful, but unless it's a perishable and daily need, if your customer is buying, I don't know, a battery pack from you, right? A battery pack. When are they going to come back and buy another battery pack from you, right? I mean, think about it. Let me just, okay, so to give you an example, battery pack, right? So when are they going to buy another battery pack? Probably not anytime soon. So add something of value. Why don't you just give them an Amazon gift card? Value, cash value. Or just refund, the moment they do that, refund a portion of their what they paid for your product, or even your service. Well, service, you taking pictures is maybe difficult, but for a lot of service it is possible. And so just refund a little bit, or give them a cash kind of gift card or something like that. Make it valuable, right? Not just saying we'll give you 5% off your next order with us. Because, I mean, think about it. Would you really care about taking a selfie and posting it for 5% off the next order? Maybe not. So, think through. Try to provide value to your customers. Value-driven thing is important. Okay, the next one. Make your website into a lead generation machine. Okay, what does a lead generation machine mean? I'm going to do another series on, turning your website into a lead generation machine and using funnels and things like that. It's going to be an awesome kind of series. If you subscribe to this channel, of course, you'll get notified. But for just the sake of brand awareness, let's just talk about what people are missing in terms of their websites and what they're doing, right? If you think about it, a lot of websites don't really have a lead generation kind of setup. They have static websites. They might have a shop, and yeah, there's a funnel, maybe a simple funnel. Of course, people go through that. There's a card, they pay, and so on. But general websites, are you really? Is it creating brand awareness? Have you invested in a decent website? The aesthetics. Is it on brand? Is the communication on the website well written, or did you just let your designer do the writing, right? And I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, we are a design agency, but at the same time, for the websites that we build for our clients, only the marketing team writes the content, if they paid us, of course. Most of the time, we ask the client to just give us the content. But if the client wants us to do it, it's the marketing people have to do it. But in your case, you are your own marketer. You are an expert at your product or service, right? So write content, write good content. So all these things, they make up the kind of awareness factor of your website. And if you don't use good tools, if your website is not professionally created, then you are missing out on building brand awareness. Okay, next one. This is a no-brainer. Develop a strong brand. And on the right here, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. This is Watson Bros Brothers. It's an awesome brand that we built for a client in London. And I did a video on this. I did a case study video on. So if you don't have a strong brand to begin with, building awareness is virtually impossible. Well, yeah, it is difficult, right? So ensure that your brand is recognizable as possible. And this means your logo, the colors, the fonts, the outlook, and this creates awareness. So building a strong brand is fundamental to creating awareness. In fact, it'll save you money on marketing. It'll save you money on advertising. If you have a powerful brand, then your advertising, your marketing, everything becomes easier because it creates that stickiness. It creates that brand recall. So spend some money on building a strong brand. I'm not saying that because I'm the co-founder of a branding agency. Yes, of course, but I would tell you that irrespective, not because I want you to become my client, which yes, of course, I want you to become my client, but that is not what I'm talking about here. Irrespective of what, where or whom you contact and whom you engage to build your brand, invest in building a strong brand, right? Invest, and that investment will pay back. It'll come back to you, 1,000-fold. So yeah, don't go cheap on brand building. All right, number 8, LinkedIn group participation. So use LinkedIn to your advantage to build awareness, right? Especially LinkedIn groups, and engage in conversation with industry leaders, right? So LinkedIn groups can help you do the following, like engaging in conversations and positioning yourself as an industry leader by sharing thoughts and content, and that builds awareness. You can answer questions from potential online customers. Again, awareness. Provide advice to potential customers. You can find potential customers and to connect with on LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. So LinkedIn it used to be just for professional services like recruitment companies, bankers, but now LinkedIn is for everyone. Even if you're selling battery packs or if you're selling, I don't know, plastic bottles, right? Bad example, but whatever you're selling, LinkedIn is a good platform. I did a video on different platforms, including LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and how to choose which one, what to do. I will leave a link below in this video and just check it out. Or maybe if this is on YouTube, I will leave a card somewhere here and you can just click on it. But yeah, do not ignore LinkedIn. Don't be intimidated by LinkedIn. It's easy to get to grips with, and it's very effective because the noise to signal ratio, at least at the moment, is not that bad, but it's going to get worse. And so yeah, jump on it. TikTok is another place where you can build awareness. So depending on what your market segment is, look into it. Look into TikTok and what's happening with that. Facebook plus like campaign. Okay, again, this is a no-brainer. If you have a Facebook page, don't just post discounts, right? I look at a lot of small business Facebook pages, and all they do is just post. They share some stuff and then post discounts. They say, okay, Halloween is coming up, or I don't know, Christmas is coming up. Well, Christmas, okay, I understand. But no, make your communication more than that. Try to come up with content, share stuff that will encourage people to like your page, right? To like, and that will increase awareness. And for them to be able to like, if you're just talking about your brand and about your products or services and discounts, come, buy, nobody's going to like your page, or, well, most people won't like your page. So to build awareness, engage in a conversation, okay? Make them like your page. That will build awareness. For example, let's look at a couple of examples of if you're running a homeless nonprofit organization. One suggestion is to say on your Facebook page, do you support ending homelessness in, I don't know, New York or whatever? Like us today to show your support and learn what we're doing to help. Okay, now you might be thinking, Mash, come on, man, this is a no-brainer. I mean, do you have to make a video about this? Yes, because you would be surprised at how often people don't even do this little thing. Just saying, do you want to support something? Like us if you want to support that, right? Okay, so I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. The next one is, if it's an email marketing software company, right? Say, do you need an easy way to send email to a variety of lists? Like us today, and we will share experts' tips with you. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is powerful, right? So this is engaging. Someone likes, then send them a message through Facebook Messenger. Powerful, powerful. Send them a message with some tips, not with marketing, not with sales, right? Okay. Next is blogging. Oh, yes, I keep talking about blogging in every video. And in fact, I did in the personal branding series, one video, I talked about this quite in depth. So running a blog on your website will help you increase traffic to your site. If your site and blog is optimized for conversions, it should also help you drive more leads or sales. And building awareness through blogging is a no-brainer. It is something that I recommend, I thoroughly recommend. You should do it. If you already have a blog, go back and check it. What are you doing? When was the last time you posted? Was it May 2016? Or was it yesterday, right? It has to be yesterday, or maybe at least day before. Aim for at least 2 blog posts a week, right? You might ask me, do we do that at Spellbrand, the agency? Yeah, we do once, but mostly not, because our strategy is slightly different. We did used to, I mean, if you go back and look at the history of our blog, we used to post every day. But now our strategy is slightly different. Then you might say, well, if your strategy is different, why are you recommending? Because we are an advanced agency, right? We are a global agency with 5 offices around the world, and we've been around since 1998. I'm not saying that you're not. Maybe you're a bigger brand than us, so this is not a brag. This is just to say that strategies differ based on your situation, right? And this is why a lot of the time videos like this or blog posts that talk about 15 tips, tricks, marketing strategies may not really be that effective, because they try to be very generic, like I'm trying to be very generic, right? But this is the takeaway from this, is try to be very aware of your situation, your brand, your target audience, your budget. Based on that, you pick and choose the right strategies for you, right? If I say, for example, that, yeah, blog every single day, and let's just say give it a monetary value and it'll cost you, I don't know, $150 a day to write that blog. Maybe you're hiring someone or whatever, and you're a small business, you're getting started, then no, scale it back 2 times a week. That's $300. $1,200 a month, not bad. Even if that is difficult, once a week. No less than that. I mean, if you're not spending $150 to write a piece of content for your blog per week, then yeah, I mean, if I was a consultant, I'll just simply say, what are you thinking, right? How do you want your business to take off? Nothing is going to happen, right? Okay, that might sound a little harsh, but I got to be harsh with you, you know. So yeah, blogging. And by the way, if you're thinking, what is our strategy? Our strategy is still blogging, but it also has video. It's a bit more complicated. Right, so blogging is, yeah. Number 11, host a webinar. Oh, yes. Webinars are a great way to accomplish a lot of goals, right? It puts you in front of a new audience, because sometimes you can even have 5,000 people on a single webinar, and it helps you build a list. It saves you time, and you can communicate effectively. You can show your brand persona, your personal brand out there. Do a webinar. Webinars are fantastic. Okay, here are some webinar marketing tips, right? Have a clear goal in mind. Give value, be visual, engage, and don't make it too long, right? Don't have a 3-hour webinar. 40 minutes, maybe an hour at the most, right? But not too short either, because a webinar, 15 minutes is not worth it. You might as well make it into a video and then post it on YouTube, right? So webinars, And you can read about this. I will leave a link. You can read all the marketing tips of this webinar in this video. Okay, launch a guest blogging campaign. Okay, Matt Cutts, and if you don't know who Matt Cutts is, he's the Google kind of guru. He works, I'm not sure if he's still working for Google, but he was instrumental in fighting spam on Google and instrumental in destroying thousands and millions of websites who were spamming, who were gaming Google search results and blah, blah. But anyway, he famously said that guest blogging was dead, right? 5 years ago. That's 2016, 2015, something like that. But even in 2020, now, the date of this video, it remains an awesome way to raise your brand awareness, right? But you got to do it really, really carefully. Look at these steps. Find relevant blogs in your niche, right? That is the key. Don't guest blog everywhere. If you're selling battery packs, don't go and guest blog on, I don't know, a website that sells horseshoes, right? Don't do that. It has to be very, very, because that is what is spamming, and that's what Google actually doesn't like. If you're guest blogging in unrelated, then you're not really, see, guest blogging is about building authority, right? It's your authority, your brand authority, right? But what kind of authority is it? If you're talking about, let's say if I'm talking about branding on a website that sells cute Pikachu toys. Well, yeah, it is a brand, but just that's about it, right? So that is not building awareness. That is not building authority. Okay, qualify each blog. Yes, go through it, qualify. Is this the right blog? Come up with some topic ideas. Then send them an email to say, guys, I love your blog. You know, I've been a fan for a long time. I follow it. I like your content, and maybe even mention one or two that you've genuinely read and genuinely liked, and say, listen, I think I represent a brand, right, or personal brand, and I'm an expert in, and don't be afraid, just say I'm an expert, right? Word it nicely, but make sure they know you're an expert in so and so, and it's related to most of the topics of your blog and of your target audience. And I would like to write a blog post. Do you accept guest blog posts? If so, here are a few ideas, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Send it to them. And 8 times out of 10, if you give references, say, okay, this is my style of writing, and this is what I've done in the past, then yeah, they will accept it and post that. And in that blog post, don't try to spam and link back to your website. No, be transparent, respect the rules set by that website, and of course they will take it off. You know, even if you try to slip it by them, but respect that. Be happy with just the bio. That's it. Sometimes not even a link, but a link would be good. Link back to your website, right? Okay. Number 13, hold contests. Contests work really well at raising brand awareness because, you know, who doesn't like to win things, right? Contests engage people and create a natural buzz around your brand. They create a sense of urgency, and they also create a sense of opportunities, right? Okay, some of the type of contests are like to win, sweepstakes, photo contests, brand contests, caption contests. You can read more about them. I will leave a link below, and you can read it on the blog post that I've written about this. I'm trying to hurry up now because I'm aware, I think, let me see, where am I? Yes, I'm 28 minutes. I don't want to do videos longer than 30 minutes. I hate that. Actually, this is already too long. You're probably already bored. So let me move on quickly. Exploit social media, right? I don't really need to tell you about social media. Now here it says 2019. That's because we're just at the beginning of 2020. So, you know, pick the right platforms, you know, be visual, post native content. So what that means is don't just, if you post a video on YouTube, don't just take that YouTube video and post it on LinkedIn. Instead, upload the raw video on LinkedIn or even Facebook. Yeah, it depends on, again, if it's appropriate for you. Make a conversation, you know, provide lots of value, but be mindful of the sale. So in situations like that, also have a bit of awareness of where this fits in that flow to turn someone into a lead and into a sale, right? Okay, the next one is working with influencers. Number 15. Working with influencers is, I would say, the holy grail of building brand awareness, right? If you can get access to an influencer who has, I don't know, 1 million followers on Instagram, for example, and they sort of talk about your product or show a picture, imagine the kind of brand awareness. But it's not easy to sort of get endorsement from an influencer with 1 million followers. You will be selling your business and maybe even your house to pay for it. They are expensive. But let's talk about a couple of steps that you can do, right? The first thing you need to do is find an influencer that's relevant, who shares your values and whose audience is engaged, right? So it's not just about numbers. This last bit is key, that audience should be engaged, because you want to work with influencers whose followers are actually engaging with their posts. There are lots and lots of fake influencers online, right? If you go and look at their social media channels, you might see, 100,000 followers. It means nothing. They could have bought those followers. Yes, it happens. And go and check out their posts. See the level of engagement. If they have 100,000 followers on Instagram and consistently when they post a new Instagram post and they're getting like 16 likes or 7 shares or something like that, then you know something is wrong. 100,000 followers and they get 7 shares consistently? Come on. And if nobody's commenting on, chatting, I mean, it just shows you, right? So look for engagement. If you find an influencer with just, let's say, 3,000 followers, right? And yet, each time they post something, they're getting like, 800, 1,100, 1,200 engagements. These are likes or hearts or shares. Now that is the influencer you want to work with, okay? Relevant, okay? Number 2, then you need to DM them with your request. When you do this, make sure you show them how this partnership is going to benefit them. What's in it for them? Why they should work with you. So not just about what you will pay them. No, a lot of influencers, they have values, they have ethics, and they want to work with people. They want to endorse brands that are aligning with their values, right? They don't want to endorse shit, right? Excuse my French, but I'm really passionate about this, and I want you to know the extent of the deepness you need to think about this. And so let them know that you share the same values. Okay, let them know that, and that will be intriguing. You can also work through agents, right? These days, influencers work through agents. They don't encourage direct DMs. If they do, fantastic. If not, try and find out who that agent is and what you can, do with that. Okay, so those are the 15 15 strategies. Hope you like this video. I know I'm trying a new format, and that's why there was like I'm hesitant, and you would see the camera angle is different because I want to use slides. Most of my videos I'm just talking, and I got a lot of feedback from a lot of people saying that if it's a 18 minutes or a 20-minute long video, just me talking doesn't really, they tend to forget or they tend to drift. So I want to do it more visually. I hope you like this. Let me know what you think of this. I will try and polish it and refine this whole process and make it better. But just let me know. Leave comments below about these strategies and also about this new format of the video. And yeah, till my next video, take care.